All right, what's up, everybody? Another Gators Breakdown Plus member chat right here on this Sunday evening. A lot of staff hires being made for Jon Sumrall. 2026 SEC schedule release at the end of last week. So I think we have plenty to discuss right here on this Gators Breakdown Plus member chat episode out there for everybody else. But of course, if you want to take part in this, become a Gators Breakdown Plus member, join the Discord, and you can have conversations like this with us. Have the chats that we have, the chat rooms as well. But lots going on, lots to talk about, of course. Right here in Gator Nation, of course, never a dull moment, as we like to say right here on Gators Breakdown. Everybody hit that like button out there. If you're watching the replay, subscribe if you're watching the replay as well. Podcast platform as well. Subscribe right there. But you can join Gators Breakdown Plus, gatorsbreakdownplus.com, extra episodes, ad-free episodes, and, of course, access to the Discord right here. So plenty to get into, of course, with the hires. And you have Phil Trautwein getting hired. That's the one that's been hyped up the most, and understandably so. You have the DB coaches, Brandon Harris, Chris Collins, and then wide receivers coach that just came out right here on this Sunday from Auburn, Marcus Davis. So a lot of ways to go with this. Of course, not all of these official, but of course for Phil Trautwein, I mean, you see him out there just offering these big-time offensive line recruits out there. So we know that's about as official as you can get right now without an official announcement. Everybody else will just kind of wait, but it seems to be trending that way, of course, with these hires. So, yeah. But, you say that, and then Brandon Harris was, getting all kinds of articles saying, hey, he's on his way to Florida State. Not so fast. He's in orange and blue, or going to be in orange and blue, it looks like, before he ever makes it to Tallahassee. So these reports, not 100%, but of course, I think we can take enough away to know this is probably where it's heading for these hires. So let's talk about them. You guys can hop in here on the chat, of course, get your thoughts in here. Get a little bit of background info on these guys. We'll do a deeper dive this week. I'm working on a loaded week of Gators Breakdown, by the way. So trying to get it. Will Miles and I on Monday, we'll go deeper into these hires. It's kind of just a reaction episode. We'll give a little bit of background on these hires tonight, but a deeper dive will be throughout the week. Seth Varnador is going to join me. He put out a great film study for Buster Faulkner over at Varnador Films. I advise you guys to go watch it. Seth does a great job of breaking down that offense. Seth will join me on Gators Breakdown. Reached out to Tate Casey. Of course, Phil Trautwein, great, really good friends. They played together at Florida. Tate Casey, we're working on that to have on Gators Breakdown this week as well. So, guys, just keep bringing it to you. Keep bringing it to you. Got the holidays coming up as well. So, trying to just put out a whole lot, and I'll probably try to enjoy the holidays a little bit. If breaking news happens, we'll be here, but just getting some stuff out there for you guys. I think you'll enjoy. I'll enjoy, diving into these staffs, and as Jon Sumrall puts this together. But I think we got plenty to talk about. So let's get it started. As most of the time we do, Ryan will hop in here to get us started. And then Harrison, I see you on deck, and Corey as well. But Ryan, get it started, my friend. What's up?
What's up, Dave?
Man, just the spill there to get us started. That's what's up. That's what's up. And first time we've all gotten together with the chat of the big time news of Phil Trautwein there at offensive line and some of these other hires to talk about.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, and it happened. So
yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, these have been some, on paper, home run hires, and Trautwein already out there recruiting like a madman. Oh, man, it's just awesome.
I put that on social media too this week. It was refreshing to see that. I mean, you had recruits, retweeting or just tweeting, "Hey, I got re-offered by Florida," but making sure they tag Phil Trautwein. They're finding a photo of Phil Trautwein in a Gator uniform to put with their post.
Yeah, it's
you could tell there was some excitement about it on the recruiting front for positions along the offensive line that we've so desperately missed, the high-profile recruits.
I just hope we can spend the money necessary to land those high-profile recruits.
I mean,
because they're not going to be cheap.
No, they're not. And you see it. I mean, it's 4 stars, it's 5 stars, it's top 10 guys, it's top 100 guys. And
yeah, it's that Vander guy, whatever. I don't remember what his name was, but he's already scheduled a visit, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Out there, I think some of these guys are trying to work on that, and who knows? Because I don't even know the official visit schedule won't be till what summertime. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we'll get. I'm sure we get some spring visits, especially guys who are close. But what I noticed was, I'll go back to it. Targeting these top 10, top 100 guys, and just the first few days on the job, and many. If you look at where he's targeting, and a lot of these guys, they're in the Northeast. Where he had those previous connections from Boston College and from Penn State, of course. So, too long have we just settled for, on offensive line, lesser ranked players. You have to play the long game, the long development game, which does have to happen at those positions to a certain extent. But, man, let's go develop some 4- and 5-star offensive linemen, get them on the field a little bit faster, if they earn it. So it's I want to give Cam Parker a shout out while we're on that, on this topic from Gators SI. He said, quote, in an article that he put out, from the 2015 class, it's talking about Florida, from the 2015 class and on, under coaches Mike Summers, Brad Davis, John Hevesy, Rob Sell, Darnell Stapleton, Jonathan DeCoster, Florida signed 48 offensive linemen. Only 3 were ranked inside the top 10 of their respective position. And that's Roderick Kerning, the number 6 guard, Richard Garage, the number 8 tackle, and Martez Ivy, the number 1 tackle back in 2015. Now, I said, let's be honest with ourselves. Florida did go after, some of these highly ranked guys, but we never really felt like Florida was a contender in the end, maybe for a couple of them, for the ones they didn't get. But Ryan, get this. Trautwein has a track record. See, Cam went on to say, across his 6 seasons at Penn State since 2020, the Nittany Lions signed 5 offensive linemen that were either a 5-star, ranked inside the top 100 nationally, or ranked inside the top 10 for their respective position group. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, yes, bring some of them down there and then pick up in Florida and do it. I mean, offensive line is probably one of the state of Florida's weakest positions, I would think.
For sure.
Just so you're going to have to go out and get them somewhere else. So for the most part, but yeah.
Yeah, so more
awesome hire. I mean, he's just an ace at everything, and he's an alum, so he's going to work even harder.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell the fit. It's already there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's. I went back to his bio, and this past season he was entering his 6th season at Penn State, and over the past 7 seasons between Penn State and Boston College, Trautwein has mentored 31 all-conference offensive linemen. And since 2020, Penn State is tied for 2nd nationally for most offensive linemen selected in the NFL draft with 7.
I love it, man. We need it here now.
Yeah, he had 4 all Big Ten offensive linemen in 2024. Now, granted, we know the staff, James Franklin got fired, so not much to write home about this year. But at the same time, this is the history that you're getting with Phil Trautwein, and hopefully just kind of continues it on right here for the Gators at a spot so desperately needed.
Yeah, and then the wide receiver hire, the coach. That's another home run hire, and on paper, I mean, to me, just the guys he's gotten to go to Auburn.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm going to read on three's little summary here from a good friend, Keith Niebuhr. And Keith knows Auburn really well. He spent some time at Auburn before coming back to cover Florida. Marcus Davis spent the past 3 seasons at receivers coach at Auburn, is expected to join Jon Sumrall's staff with the Florida Gators. Davis coached 2 of the SEC's most talented receivers in 2025. Cam Coleman, 56 catches for 708 yards. Eric Singleton Jr., who transferred from Georgia Tech, 58 catches for 534. Davis was the lead coach in the recruitment of Coleman, a 5-star prospect, number 4 overall player in 2024 class. Now, let's be honest with ourselves as well. A lot of NIL going on right there. But, hey, that's what you put yourself in.
That's the world we live in.
That's the world we live in, and put yourself into position. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So, before landing at Auburn as a receivers coach on December 29th, 2022, Davis was receiver coach for one season at Georgia Southern and one season at Hawaii. So, a little bit of background there. To me, it's even hard because, I know Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton are good. To me, it's even, I think, looking at it, go back and what we know about Auburn the last couple of years is quarterback play has been terrible. So I don't even think you've even been getting a good feel on just how good the wide receivers could be at Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think Cam Coleman's going to come with him. Price tag probably a little bit too high for us with Dallas and BB3 on the roster.
Yeah.
But still, there was I saw it on Twitter where his other prospects he's gotten last year. He got the top. Maybe it was 2 years ago, 24 or 25. I can't remember exactly, but it was the top portal wide receiver and the sixth best portal wide receiver. I mean, he flipped 2 wide receivers from Bama. So, I mean, he seems to be pretty solid on the trail, too, which is, like I said, that's what we need. We need recruiters. Everybody tried to talk. I don't know. I was never really impressed with Billy Napier's recruiting, and we thought we were getting a recruiter. We never really got that. I mean, he got that 7th class last year, but I mean, other than that, nothing really impressive other than DJ Lagway. I think that's about to change. I really feel like we got some ace recruiters on this staff, and we're going to go after the big guys. Now, whether we can afford them, that's a different story, but we're going to at least go after them hard.
Yeah, we'll see how far the NIL game goes, but certainly plays a part, and definitely got to play that part of the game too if you want to compete for the elite classes. On Marcus Davis as well is a native of Boynton Beach, Florida, so bringing him home. Auburn, he did play college at Auburn.
He went to Auburn, though.
Yeah. Played in 50 games at Auburn, starting 15 of them from 2013 to 2016. Finished his career with 83 receptions. So, Ryan, stick around. Let's bring Harrison in here, and we'll also we'll see what Harrison has to say, but we'll go around to the defensive hires as well for the Gators. What's up, Harrison?
How we doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. You still there?
Yeah, I was trying to switch the output on my phone. Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm still here. My bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm really happy about the Phil Trautwein. I mean, I think I've that's as excited as I've seen everybody in the Discord in a long time.
It is. That does remind me of a tweet I put out last week where I was like, in our theme of last week's chat was, hey, it's been a week since Jon Sumrall was hired, and the feelings were turning around a little bit, and then you get the Trautwein news, and it got hyped up even more. And Gator Nation, I think, coming around even more. Now, we all know what it means in the end, the wins and the losses, of course. But I think for the red arrow trending down that was for a little bit is now a green arrow trending up, and put another plus sign when you have the announcement of somebody like Phil Trautwein, and that was on the heels of getting the official word of Buster Faulkner being the offensive coordinator. So it was certainly been an arrow trending up there, and I put it out there last week. It's like it's good to see Gator Nation for the most part all kind of now coming together and say, all right, we see the vision a little bit now, and let's go attack this thing like we know we can.
One guy I want to see him bring home is Bam Hardman. That's if he brings him home, I'm cool with whatever the rest of he does.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see. Of course, what happens with Bam? What we've seen now, and what a lot of people didn't want to see, of course, and we're seeing it play out this way is, Jon Sumrall's not bringing the whole buddy just because I'm coaching with you now at Tulane. I'm bringing you to Florida. So we have yet to get a Tulane assistant coach name to be coming with him. Now, I would expect we might see it at strength and conditioning. We might see it at some of the position groups. Linebacker might be in one with Bam Hardman. But Brad White has a background there. Jon Sumrall himself has a background at the position. So that might be what keeps him away from the linebacker spot. So I don't know. It is going to be interesting. Is Bam Hartman well thought of enough to where he could come in and be the linebacker coach? Would he come to Florida in a different role? Some kind of, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. But we have not heard a whole lot on bringing part of the Tulane staff over yet.
Yeah, I hope so. Even if it's a all-field analyst or something, I'd be happy with him. And I've heard good things about his special team coach also. So I wouldn't mind bringing his special team coach over. And I just want to ask Dave, what are you hearing about the running backs coach? Are you still hearing Tim Harris for that?
You mean Derek Nix?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I forgot.
I've been hearing Derek Nix and Bama. So
You're right. I forgot about the Harris stuff that was out there earlier today. You're right. I honestly have not heard a whole lot about that one. As far as Tim Harris goes, I know it's out there, and that's kind of why I briefly forgot about it for a second. But I know where you're going with that. So yeah, you weren't making it up. Derek Nix, of course, was a name that had been out there. He was on campus last week. The infamous picture that was taken at Spurrier's. He was in some kind of staff meeting there. I'm sure maybe part of the interview, maybe part of the meeting to the other offensive staff. I think that was kind of trending well until going to Bama and maybe taking a wide receiver coach position there under Kalen DeBoer. Now we know all the rumors about Kalen DeBoer and possibly the Michigan job. He come out saying he wants to stay at Bama tonight. Does that have anything to do with how Nix is handling this? Does he have questions about DeBoer maybe staying at Alabama? We haven't got an answer there. We haven't got an answer about him coming to Florida. I can't imagine Florida wants to wait around too much longer as we see these hires are now kind of filtering in a bit more. So he might be taking too long to decide on the running back spot. I'm not going to completely punt on the Rashad Samples from Oregon as an option for the running back coach spot. So I still think maybe something there. But so we'll see where it goes. But that's does seem to be the three names that we've talked about the most with Harris, Nix, and Rashad Samples. And Samples' name came up early on in the process, kind of died down a little bit. We'll see maybe how this, with the way it's maybe looking like it's going to play out for Nix and maybe not wanting to wait around, if that makes Florida pivot and maybe pursue others harder.
Yeah, I just got a few more questions for you, Dave, and I'll let somebody else talk. But what do you think about the new hires on the defensive side? Because I don't really know much about Brandon Harris and the other guy we hired from Kentucky. I've heard Connor Clark say really good things about Harris, but I'm not well versed in him. And what do you think about the McKnight hire on offense too? And I'll let somebody else talk.
The what hire on offense?
I thought we were hiring I think we're hiring the guy from Georgia Tech. Is his last name McKnight? I think it is.
Oh, I haven't heard about that. I know we just talked about, they're on the guy from Auburn that we were just discussing.
I think that was a possible, like a rumor or a possible talk for a tight end coach earlier in the Discord, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. We were just
if I'm not mistaken, I might be off on that.
I might be too, Ryan. I might have got my information mixed up, but I'm sorry if I did.
No, you're good.
I thought I saw his name mentioned somewhere.
Yeah, there's been a lot of names just flying around lately.
Yeah.
So, tight end, I'll be interested to see what happens there. Faulkner did have a role there with Georgia Tech in that regard. I don't know if that will be the case here. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, he's still going to hire a position coach, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because he can't do everything.
But for the defensive guys, and certainly doesn't get the kind of name recognition of Buster Faulkner, comparing to Brad White. But we all know Brad White because of our relationship with Kentucky. But then you feel Phil Trautwein there at offensive line, one of the best offensive line coaches in the country and former Gator. So that was hyped up a bit more. And then we just talked about, of course, Marcus Davis coming from Auburn. But in the last couple of days as well, if you've missed it out there, because a lot of it come out Friday over the weekend, UCF defensive backs coach Brandon Harris. That was first reported by Matt Zenitz. And that's the one I go back to, was reportedly set to be hired by Florida State as their cornerbacks coach. But you go back, he joined UCF in this past season, this 2025 season, helped the Knights rank 25th nationally in pass defense this past season. And UCF, not a great season overall there, but pass defense ranking 25th in the country. He coached cornerbacks at FAU from 2022 to 2024 and FIU all the way back in 2021. Statistically, UCF had one of its best passing defenses in FBS history for their history. In Harris's first season with UCF this past season, the Knights allowed just 185 yards per game through the air. That's the third lowest clip for UCF since they become an FBS program in 1996, and their lowest since 2001. So UCF allowed just 13 passing touchdowns, 8 less than the 2024 season. So there you go. Following conference championship games of the week, UCF sat third in the Big 12 and 25th in the nation in passing yards allowed, as well as fourth in the conference in total defense. And Harris was named to the 2026 AFCA 35 under 35 Coaches Leadership Institute at season's end. So it's thought of to be kind of one of the rising coaches in the industry. So maybe you steal him away from Florida State. That's good. And got that South Florida connection. I mean, if the last name sounds familiar, it should, because Harris, you know the name well. His father, Tim Harris, legend, of course, coaching high school in the Miami area. And then his brother, Treon Harris, former Gator quarterback. So you got some connections there. So good to definitely get in that South Florida area for some recruiting. Some recruiting power, hopefully, is what this turns into.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest reason right there, was to get in that Florida recruiting, South Florida.
So there's just some background on him, Harrison.
Well, what do you think? What do you think of the other guy, the guy we got from Kentucky? Do you think he's a good hire?
Like I said, these names on defense aren't going to wow you like the offensive names did. They make sense in some ways. Like we just talked about, Harris seems to be a rising coach in the circle, and you have the South Florida recruiting tie. For Chris Collins, I think you get the connection to Brad White here. I mean, Collins, I'll give you some background on him. Just completed his 5th season at Kentucky, coaching DBs, mostly cornerbacks, it seemed there. He was in his 2nd season as co-defensive coordinator at Kentucky. So worked with Brad White, of course, and they say there, his Kentucky bio, quote, played a key role in developing a secondary that produced high-level talent and results. Also noted that Collins has established a reputation for developing elite secondary talent, most recently mentoring Max Hairston, who made history as the first Kentucky defensive back ever selected in the first round in last year's NFL draft. So you go back, though, you look at this season, and that's what's fresh on a lot of people's mind. And Kentucky's pass defense was 103rd nationally in this past season, but was 21st nationally just last season. And Kentucky held opposing teams to 183.7 passing yards a game. And that defense had top 5 rankings in the SEC and was top 20 in the country in the following categories: red zone defense, fewest passing yards allowed, and fewest first downs allowed. So to me, it is, and you had some other years sprinkled in there where, of course, Kentucky was a good defense. And he's been a part of those good defenses. Now, it's just, I think when you look at it, it is certainly a hire that is made because of being connected to Brad White. And I don't mind that so much because, especially in this, I think you want some continuity. And Jon Sumrall has said, hey, look, I'm not going to, just because there's a connection, just because I've coached with you before, you might be my friend, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hire you. There's going to be some where you're going to trust a relationship that you've built. So yeah, these defensive hires, they're not going to jump off the page like the offensive ones do. But there are pluses with Collins as a familiarity with Brad White. Harris seems like an up and comer with a deep South Florida ties. You hope that pays off on the recruiting trail. But Collins and White, I think you go back to Kentucky. They been hit really hard in this new era of college football with the NIL and the transfer portal. I think really affected Kentucky. And then look, you had Mark Stoops trying to leave for the Texas A&M job just a couple off seasons ago, and it does seem like right there that it's just kind of fallen off. And you had the calling card development. That's a little bit harder, I think, as well when you're losing guys. It seems like your head coach wants to be somewhere else as well. So, and going back to it, it's just hard to know the exact defense Florida will play with Sumrall and White. I don't think Sumrall will be completely hands off, but we'll let White run the defense. I just imagine it would be a little more aggressive with Florida athletes in a mix of different styles here. So I'm eager to see how they mix all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the DC and the OC hire. I just don't know a whole lot about the guys out of Phil Trautwein and everything. I mean, they seem like good coaches. I'm not really familiar with them.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty typical too. Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be some projection here. I mean, you're not gonna build a staff. We're not going to build a staff where everybody knows the name of all these, these assistant coaches. It's not going to happen.
No. And plus, you also got to look at not every position or staff member or person you hire may not be on paper look like a home run hire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just some things it is what it is. I mean, if you got to pay X amount to Trautwein to be, then maybe your tight end coach isn't some, big name coach. He's just there,
Yeah, that could certainly be the way it plays out. And I don't go back to that point I just made because I want to give JP Gator a shout out right here in the Discord. And he put this up, and it kind of goes to the theme there. He said, Harris is an interesting hire. UCF plays totally different than Kentucky/Tulane coverage-wise. He said UCF, and I'm going this past season here, was 12th in the country in playing man coverage. Well, Tulane was 57th in the country in playing man coverage. And we all know when you play Kentucky, you're not getting a whole lot of man coverage. They were 125th in the country in man coverage. So you kind of have UCF, who's near the top in playing man coverage. Tulane right there kind of in the middle. And then Kentucky all the way ranked very high in that. So that's what I mean by you kind of mixing some different backgrounds here. And honestly, I mean, you want to be able to play different styles. You want to play to me, with Florida and that type of athletes you can get, I think you want to live mostly in man, but a lot of it, you down in distance and making sure, you confuse the opposing offense and how to play. And certain situations call for, better zone play. Some call for man. But I think because of what you can recruit here, the type of athletes you can put on the field, you certainly want to be able to play. I think sit in man coverage a bit more. So I thought it was a pretty interesting look there from JP Gator of, you're bringing Harris in, and we go back to the stats I just read for how good UCF pass defenses were. Well, here they are playing a lot of man coverage, and that's in the Big 12. And they're having state of Florida guys right there on the UCF defense in the Big 12, being able to live in man coverage and play a lot of man coverage. Like I said, Tulane mixing it up a bit, Kentucky not so much. I think that's probably been the biggest sticking point so far when looking at Kentucky's defense, and maybe what they're bringing here to Florida is we want a little more aggressive of a defense and live off the athletes that you can play, that you have on the field, and not necessarily have to sit back and play bend don't break defense so much and so much zone defense. So I think in some ways that's kind of what you had to do at Kentucky with the type of athletes you can get there, and just kind of catering to your players and to the type of athletes you can get there. You can get better athletes at Florida. You probably already have them on campus right now. So I would expect a pretty good mix of defensive, the defensive approach here for the Gators. And I don't think we're necessarily going to see the living in cover 3 Kentucky defense that we saw so much of with Kentucky and Brad White.
Gator fans shouldn't say anything about Kentucky's defense because they've been whooping our butt for years now. So, granted, NIL has ruined their program, but
yeah,
Mark Stoops has kind of handled us.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad. That's a good hire in my opinion.
He's handled us and done well against us, but
and against Georgia.
Yeah, fix that. But I always go back when they've really handled us. The Florida offense wasn't really good in the first place.
Yeah, I'm just kind of making a joke.
No. I get it. I get it. It's just when Kyle Trask came in at the end of 29, when Florida had a quarterback, that Kentucky defense didn't stand a chance.
that's almost any defense, though, man. If the other team has got a quarterback and you can't pressure them, then you're. It's lights out. He's going to carve you up. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, the teams have got quarterbacks go the distance. Now that defense, of course, is always helps, but in the end, if you got that quarterback, it's tough.
I'm bring Corey in here right quick, and then we can talk about some schedules.
I like the defensive hire so far.
Yeah, I'm probably a little higher on the Harris hire than most. I think that's just kind of one.
Yeah, I actually like it. I think
that's one.
Me too.
Yeah, I think that's one projection that might just pay off here. And I'm probably being hopeful, but I know, and I know a lot of people were making the joke of, well, if he was going to FSU, do we really want him? Come on. I'm not gonna really judge somebody solely on that. What's up, Corey?
Hey, Dave. How are you tonight?
I am well, man. Just it's funny. It's funny. Just came to my mind too, and I'm glad I'm doing well because my wife and my daughter have been sick the last couple of days. So I hope I hope it's not coming this way.
My daughter too.
We know how it is when you get sick,
Dave. Yeah. It's not pretty.
No. All right. I'll tell you what, Dave. A lot of my thunder got stolen on the Trautwein hire. I feel like we've been talking about him forever.
We have.
Like, yeah. Well, to have an alumni, just really doing well.
Yeah.
In Big Ten country doesn't feel well. When you're struggling on an offensive line and there's somebody that's excelling somewhere else that is one of yours, that it makes for easy conversation of, hey, why isn't this guy here?
Yeah, and Corey, going to your point too, a lot of people bring up when we're looking for coaches, they want to go get a Gator guy. Well, my thing, you don't force it. You can't just go get a guy because he played for Florida at one point. Here, that's definitely not what you're doing here. You're getting. We would want if we took away the Florida part of it. Look, that's just gravy for us right now.
Added bonus.
Yeah. It's just an added bonus. Yeah, you give me the bio of Phil Trautwein, I'm saying bring him here anyway. And now we're just glad that he's a Gator and he gets to come back home and put that Gator logo on his chest that he's so proud to be wearing. And look, timing, it worked out. Penn State fires their staff, and here he is, kind of a free agent with what's going on in college football right now, and it works out. I would love to have him here before, but maybe just the timing of it all makes it just right for now.
Yeah, and that also brings me to my next question. And before I ask it, I did stress the point last time we talked about how it seemed like so many alumni strive at their school, and I think this coaching cycle and lack of movement from those people that were at their school, they didn't move. If they're successful, they stayed.
Yeah,
and but that brings me to my next question about to change the subject a little bit, but since we're on the on what our who we're hiring as coaches and who the pool of candidates are and stuff like that. I wanted to ask you, do you think it? I mean, obviously, I don't ask this question without my preconceived notions, but does Summerall seem to have a larger candidate pool for his staff than Billy did?
You mean as in more capable options?
As in just a much larger pool of candidates that he can pick through. I always felt like Billy had a very limited coaching tree of people he worked with, even though he had been in big time jobs. It didn't seem like he had the ability to pick and choose from programs around the country of who was the best possible candidate for the job. Am I just making this up, through wishful thinking, or is it actually a much more broad candidate pool of people we're looking at?
Well, I think he wanted to, and you kind of see it what he's doing with James Madison right now too. I think he really wanted to bring a lot of people from Louisiana with him.
I was about to say he wanted to hire his buddies.
Yeah, I think he wanted to. And look, to me, I'm 50-50 on that. I'm also a believer in do what got you there in a lot of ways. And if you trust those guys, okay. But man, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your homework. And at the same time, you got to be willing to adapt. Like if you're going to go that route, you have to be willing to adapt pretty fast. And I don't think that was the case here. I think we all questioned offensive line for a little bit and the recruiting that was going on there, or lack thereof. And there's this kind of stayed status quo there. He had the initial hire of Kerry Colbert at wide receiver, turned around and hired Billy Gonzalez. That kind of worked out. Everybody got excited for the Corey Raymond hire from LSU. Now, look, I was even excited that it happened and that you could show you put him away from LSU. But even I questioned at the time. I was like, well, what Corey Raymond are we getting? Because Corey Raymond hasn't been the same Corey Raymond that that was put on a pedestal for a little while. That's not the Corey Raymond we were getting. And that's not the Corey Raymond we got. And so,
he's just a recruiter, Dave.
So you go to that. I'm kind of mixed. There was not really a background with Mike Peterson. I don't necessarily remember one with Sean Spencer. But he brought in Patrick Toney as his defensive coordinator, and that was a disaster. And then the young up and coming out of Austin Armstrong. It was a mixed bag, but going to your point, it was a bit more. I'm still going to lean on the guys that I went through it with at Louisiana more so than reaching out through the Bama coaching tree that he had, the Arizona State coaching tree that he had a bit. You're seeing with Jon Sumrall, there's no background with Buster Faulkner for one of his biggest hire, probably his biggest hire he's going to make is offensive
or Trautwein.
Yeah, or Trautwein. Yeah, looking at the offensive side right now, there's no background with that. And we all know what his most important hire was going to be. I know a lot of people will say strength and conditioning. Okay, that's right. But if you want to go that way, you can. But for on-field game day staff, the biggest hire was going to be offensive coordinator. And he didn't go with somebody he trusted. I mean, he trusted Buster Faulkner because of results, but not because he had a prior relationship with him. So it's this profession is built on building relationships and having people you can trust for sure, but you can't live and die by that. So you're gonna go get if you can, go get the best available out there. And I think that's what he tried to do with his offensive coordinator hire, and that's exactly what he did. So it's a nice balance of getting who exactly you need plus some familiarity along the way. And thankfully, hopefully not a bunch of yes men. I mean, to me, that's probably the worst and kind of what happened with Billy Napier and staff. I still believe that's probably the best label to put on that.
Yeah.
Do you have a feeling that you're not as worried about the defensive side of the ball as much as you would be on offense?
I'm the opposite.
I mean, Sumrall being a defensive head coach,
I'm actually more
okay.
confident in the offense.
I mean, I probably
as
am
far
too.
as getting the right hire.
Oh.
If you're a defensive head coach, that's kind of where
Like
what I'm kind of alluding to.
I think he's hiring somebody on defense that he can trust. But if it doesn't go the right way, then he could step in a bit more and help get it fixed. Offense is just like, I mean, I'm sure he'll have a say in kind of what he wants, but you bring in Buster Faulkner to run the offense, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's his offense.
Yeah, so
that's why I'm really confident in the offense. You know, getting players, I don't really worry about the offense as much. After making the hire of Trautwein and Faulkner, I mean, those are the two, in my opinion, two best coaches at those positions that out there that you could get. So,
I agree.
That right there just relieves a lot of stress about offense. As long as DJ Lagway gets right, provided he's a starter, which I'm assuming he will be, then I'm not really worried about the offense. The defense is where we're going to have. We still got to find players, you know, cornerbacks, safeties, defensive linemen. We're lacking depth on defense. That's why I'm a little bit more concerned on that side of the ball.
I think extending on that.
Granted, we do have offensive lineman issues.
Yeah, you're right, and we do. But you got Trautwein coming in and helping around that, and you know, Faulkner has kind of been the guy who's just been able to come in and have some early results. You know, going through his tenure so far. So, yeah, that does make me feel better.
I feel like we have a little bit better players overall on offense to work with than we will on defense at the positions where we need them. You know, if
that's why that portal.
Other than offensive line, I mean, we're struggling there, but
we'll see who sticks.
We're really going to be struggling on the defensive line.
Yeah, we'll see the portal. We'll see who sticks at receiver. You know, who's going to stay as far as that goes.
Yeah,
I think I think the main guys we want to stay are going to stay. But what happens to the depth at a spot, I think, is going to be the biggest question.
What about QB, Dave?
I mean, I've said it the whole time. I'm not giving up on Lagway. I want Lagway to stay. I also want some competition. So we'll see how they attack it. I mean,
that's the question: is what level of investment do you see them making at the position for competition?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. That is a pure guessing game to me. I have not, and I will fully admit, I have not chased around enough on that, more probably as much as I should have in that regard. I think a lot of that's just due to I think Lagway sticks around. So where do you go from that? And I've talked about ways it can play out. I think it still might be difficult because Lagway's here to get a top-notch competitive. You know, I think those guys are going to places they know they will start, and I still don't think you could be the top option in the transfer portal, and it still may not work out. You know, if Lagway's the guy we want him to be and the guy we expected him to be in 2025, then if you have this great reputation that might be a starter, you may not be if Lagway's who we want him to be. So I still think there's guys out there who will look at the situation at Florida and still think Lagway is leaning to be the guy. And do they want to take a chance on that? There's no going through spring practice and that not working out and hit the transfer portal again. I mean, that is one, you know, probably the biggest difference in having this one transfer portal window now that starts in January. You're not going to be able to go through spring practice and not get your way or not win a job and go hit the portal again. That's just not going to happen. Yeah. So you are taking a big risk in going somewhere that has some competition because you're going to be stuck there now.
Wow.
So,
and what about Jones? Is he leaving? Is there any word?
No, I don't think. I think Trammell sticks around as well. So
so then we got Griffin coming in. So there's three quarterbacks on the roster right there.
Yep. So, you know, that's if you're somebody who's looking at the future, you know, maybe I can go compete, and if I'm not the guy this year, maybe I'm the guy after that. I'm not so sure. You got Trammell and Will Griffin, right there as well. So I think it is a kind of a tough spot for somebody looking to transfer. And now maybe you're looking at Florida and Buster Faulkner's right there, and you say, hey, I really want to go play for him, and that might help Florida. But your biggest name quarterbacks out there, I still don't see it happening. So
if that's the case, Dave, is there any word on DJ needing surgery of any type?
I do not believe that will be the case. I'm thinking we're escaping the surgery
Is this because we're kicking the can down the road again on something like that, or is that because maybe time has healed some things and he's back on track?
I think they've done their due diligence and they've looked at it and hopefully determined that that's just the course of action, that he doesn't need it.
Okay, well then does that finally mean that he gets a full off season of practice?
I sure hope so. I mean, we already see the recent videos he's putting out there. He's already working out.
Yeah.
So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
That's all we can hope.
Yeah.
Hope.
It seems like something the deep state puts out, some misinformation. Freaking, it's AI video.
There we go. I'm gonna bring in Bull Gator, and then guys, let's we'll wrap it up with some schedule talk too, right quick. Let me bring in Bull.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
All right, Dave. It's Ryan, Corey, and Bull. It's the people always talking.
I'll take it.
I'll
take it.
I just wanted to make a comment on that initial Napier staff. With those coaches, the talent on the team left by Mullen. No reason UF couldn't have easily won the Sun Belt right there. We're just in the wrong conference. Actually, what I wanted to bring up, I saw that Billy Napier offered the kid Haven as a quarterback from the 2027 class. I don't think there's any chance he goes to James Madison, right. But is he still an option for a Florida? Because he seemed to be pretty close to Billy.
I believe so. Wasn't there there was a report out there, I believe Sumrall talked to Haven already.
That's good.
So, yep.
I thought he was leaning back Bama's way.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it looks right now. But
yeah,
you still gotta, when you come in here, and there was some good feelings when Napier was here about Haven at one point, and then it got ugly. The season got ugly, and he gets fired, and then Bama. You still gotta say, hey, all right, well, let's see if we can get somewhat close to pick up where we left off.
I was noticed that Hirsch in the chat said that DJ had an MRI that cleared his shoulder. But from what I was looking at, it wasn't just his shoulder that was the problem. I was saw how he was going back. He wasn't setting his feet like he used to. Saw him throwing off jumps. He just looked like he was a different quarterback. And I don't know if that was because of just the shoulder was making everything else change, but it looks like his legs were still bothering him too.
I think so. And I think from those videos, I don't want to take too much from those videos that we've seen in the last couple of days, but that seems to be the focus to me, is getting the feet right, getting more nimble, getting a little lighter on his feet. I think we'll go a long way in some of that comfortability. Now, I think because of the shoulder issues, and we know they were trying to change some of the motion too, there was just a lot happening and a lot of time that he missed. So that's why I'm still hopeful. That's why I still want to see it play out with DJ Lagway. I'll trust his staff to make the right decision there. And if he's not the right guy, they'll go play the right guy. But maybe it's just some false hope. But I still want to try to give the guy a chance.
Yeah. And
I'm with you, Dave. I'm the same way.
With Trout coming in, and who we're losing on the offensive line, losing an all-star center, I assume we're going to be hitting the portal kind of hard for the offensive line.
I think I think you have to. It is a dangerous proposition.
Good luck with that.
If you don't have a lot of money to spend, it is a dangerous proposition. I think you are going to have to. You just at least get some reps. I mean, we'll see who enters the portal and who's available. But that's kind of been the hardest position. I mean, it's the hardest position to recruit and develop, and it's been that way in the portal too. There's just not a lot of, I think, instant impact guys who just plug and play. I just don't think there's many of them out there. So we'll see. I do agree. I think you do have to attack it. I don't think it's going to be an overhaul for that group. I would like to add, probably 2 bodies to the group.
Trautwein just needs to bring them down from Penn State. Say, hey, come on, guys. Just come on down with me. Come down to Florida.
Yeah.
It's sunny. It's warm. You ain't got to worry about snow anymore.
Yeah.
It's easy still. Plus, what about Sandamela? Like, does he project as the starting center?
He does. And I think they feel pretty good. Well, okay, I keep saying they, but that's the last staff. So
All right.
I think he still slots in there. So, and then you got Harris beside him at left guard. So, yeah, and Caden Jones at right tackle. So, if you believe the last staff and their feelings on Zandamela, and then the experience of Harris and Jones, there's a good little nucleus there. And then you go from there. See what happens at left tackle. See what happens at right guard.
I believe in Phil Trautwein.
Yeah.
He'll put the best players there and
Yeah.
get them developed.
Yeah, this is the type of trust I pride to have in Rob Sale. Like, offensive line has been such a problem for so long, and we can, beat to death every other issue that has always been a problem.
In the year that it was supposed to be, developed and ready to go, it just never lived up to it.
Well, I do. It has been said that offensive line, even in high school and even in the, I guess not in the pros at this point, but it's a position group that hasn't been developed very well in high school, and it's come up to the college game.
Well,
I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard that. Brandon Olson has been preaching that for a while.
yeah, I know Cole Kulik does too. His offensive line background, and about he's saying how the transfer portal's kind of hurt the development too, because you want to develop a group, not just a guy here, a guy there. You want to develop a group, and transfer portals hurt that part. So,
yeah, that's probably the most important position group that has to stick together.
Yeah, you would like for it to
and grow as a unit. Yeah.
All right, good stuff on the coaches. Like I said, me and we'll dive into it even more Monday evening with some of these hires. I do have some more stuff from Dave Bartu of and Matrix, College Football Matrix.
Looking forward to that, Dave.
Yeah.
I love Dave Bartu.
Yeah, so he's
great.
He's got some really good stuff. I know I shared the links out there already to his Buster Faulkner and Phil Trautwein articles. I've teased a little graphics in there as well, but guys do great work there. We'll talk about that a little bit on Monday. But guys, any thoughts on the schedule that was released late last week? Highlights of the schedule, of course, opening up with Florida Atlantic. First road game is at Auburn. That is Jon Sumrall's first SEC game. It is a road game. We get Ole Miss the week after they host Lane Kiffin and LSU. At Texas, Georgia, and Atlanta. The biggest home game of the season is probably Oklahoma in the Swamp. Then, of course, season finale there at FSU. Anything caught you guys' eye out there when we were going over the schedule last week?
Thank God. 'Cause we have had a murderer's row forever.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I'm about to say it is a much easier schedule this year.
I've heard it said that kind of the schedule is kind of flipped now with a lot of your schools that were, perceived to have the easier schedules now have a gauntlet. So I think it's much more even around the league.
Well, that was going to happen with 9 conference games and the way it rotates. It's next year. It is if the teams are what we think they are, the 2027 schedule is going to be pretty tough.
First road game at Auburn. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Both new coaches.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably be more talented, but Auburn's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big stadium. It can get loud.
Yeah. I mean,
I've been there several times.
I'm
tempted to go to that one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are tempted to go to that one. I think Will's even thinking about coming down from Philadelphia for that one.
My wife has already asked me about that one because she's kind of an Auburn fan, where her family is. And we live in Alabama. It's only 2
Yeah.
hours from us. And she's like, "Are we gonna go to that game?" I was like, "I don't know. We might.
Yeah.
I don't really know if I want to go to a road game and see us lose if it happens. But I do want to go and see us win. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a
We'll
risk you got to take. Harmonic Woods, that's the
I know.
the tailgate's going. So
I've seen both. Yeah, I've been to both in Auburn before. I've seen us win. I've seen us lose. It's like I said, I've been to Auburn a few times. It's a fun game to go to. That's why I wish that that's why I was always mad that they took us off the.
Yeah.
It wasn't a regular game for us anymore.
Yeah.
Because they used to be a rival, bigger than
yeah.
LSU was.
Yeah, well, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot nicer fans too.
Yeah.
They don't smell like corn dogs?
They do not smell like corn dogs. And credit Auburn fans for coming up with that gem.
Got something I thought of today. I did, not forgotten on me because I live here in Jacksonville, that Florida, Georgia is in Atlanta next year. And a lot of the reason that game is at 3:30 every year is because Jacksonville does not want it a night game, and the schools don't want it a night game because of the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It is not going to be the world's largest outdoor cocktail party in Atlanta, and probably not even Tampa either the very next year. You just don't have the setup that you have here in Jacksonville. I do wonder if next year or even the next 2 years we have Florida, Georgia in primetime.
That would be cool.
Because it will not happen in Jacksonville. I can guarantee you that.
Mm-mm.
But Atlanta, where
that should be the 3:30 game.
Yeah,
always.
In Atlanta, you cannot tailgate like you can in Jacksonville. That's not a shot of Atlanta. That's just the way. That stadium being in downtown, there's just you can't pull up and tailgate like you can in Jacksonville. So I could see them kind of playing along here, being like, okay, well, it's really just kind of a. Granted, it is a rivalry game, and you'll have a lot of fans there. But it's still not the same. So I do wonder if you can get just for this 2-year window, if ESPN, ABC wanted a night game, they have the option to make it a night game. The schools would probably still be against it, but part of the reason they're against it is just because the all-day party atmosphere here in Jacksonville that just won't exist elsewhere.
Possibly. I don't want to change the subject, considering what you just brought up, but
no, go ahead.
One other thing on the schedule is we go to Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember the last time we won at Missouri. I hope, I know, Dave, you're going to have opportunity to confront the coach in whether it's a question format or meet and greet, but tell him we don't want to lose in Como again. And we shouldn't have all these losses
in Missouri.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen. Wasn't that Darth Vader? Missouri game?
No, that was a home game. That was a home game.
I thought that
was home.
Was that at home?
Okay,
Mike, you're right.
That was COVID.
That's right.
That was COVID game.
That's right.
Florida last won there on the road in 2019.
There was Mullen.
Yep. His last game was a loss at Missouri. The overtime 24-23 loss. South Carolina was the week before that. Fired the coordinators. Went to Missouri. Lost. Got fired.
I don't want to lose to that nerd.
Discord was.
And that is an early October game, so you don't have the Midwest cold to deal with just yet. The coldest game Florida might have will be at Kentucky November 14th. Because the week after that's Vandy at home and then at Florida State, of course. So don't have to worry about that.
And Dave, going back to your favorite game of the year, it's going to be in the Georgia Dome, not the Georgia Dome, but that Mercedes. What's it called?
Mercedes
the Dome, right?
Yeah, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yep.
Yeah.
Which I love, by the way. Now it doesn't seat as much.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, and I don't know if they can put any kind of temporary seats in like they do in Jacksonville. But It's going to be different. Now, it's going to be different the next time it's in Jacksonville, too. I mean, the Jacksonville Stadium is going to be almost – I know they call it a remodel, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be – it's so much different. It's not going to look the same. So, you get that. And I get it. And maybe because Florida won and it was a good experience. You know, I will admit, I've only been in that stadium once, and that was the Peach Bowl, you know, Mullen's first year when Florida played Michigan. And like I said, I love the stadium. We had great seats. You know, a bathroom was like literally 10 steps behind me. I could go to the bar and have a beer in my hand in 2 minutes. So just the way it was set up was so nice. Certainly different than the Swamp or anything like that. I wouldn't want that to be the atmosphere for every game, but for a bowl game atmosphere and all that, it fit in quite nice. So if Florida Georgia's like that now, you know, you're already in a pro stadium, and just, okay, well, give us a better pro stadium. I'll take it.
And Dave, can you give us any breakdown of what you anticipate the Fighting Campbells of Campbell will be like next year in the second game?
I cannot. I
just looked up their schedule this year.
Yeah.
They're like the bottom of what is the CAA conference?
FCS, I guess they're.
Oh, I know that, but I don't know what it stands for. But I mean, they've lost to Towson, they lost to Elon, they lost to North Carolina, AT&T, William and Mary, New Hampshire. Oh, they beat Hampton though.
Okay. Yeah, CAA football. Yeah, they were 10th. I see that. Yeah. Ooh.
I think we have a good chance in that.
I think you're right.
Is that like
they might be worse than Long Island.
Colonial Athletic Conference?
They were 2-10 this past year. They lost 56-10 to NC State. So there's you a comp.
I'm not complaining about two easy games.
No.
To start the season.
They lost 56,
especially with a new coach.
They lost 56-3 to East Carolina. So they're big boy games. They lost 56-3 and 56-10.
56 is the benchmark. We got at least score 56.
Now, do you know? Did we have another opponent there, and they had to come in the last minute like Long Island, or choose Campbell all along?
Tony Agolini, I think, did help remind me of that. Speaking of NC State, I think Florida was supposed to play NC State this year in 26.
We were. I think that's right. I think we took that game off of the schedule.
Let's see. Yeah, cancel future home and home. And that was supposed to be. Yep. Well, hold on. Yeah, NC State and Florida were previously scheduled to begin a home and home series at Carter Finley Stadium on September 5th, 2026. We were supposed to play at NC State this year, or in 2026. And they were not coming back to Ben Hill Griffin until 2032.
Okay, I see. It was because of the 9-game schedule.
Correct.
The SEC 9-game schedule format that they had to do that.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I mean, smart move. Although
if that had been a home game, I doubt we probably would have done it. We probably could, but it was an away game. So,
yeah, definitely easy decision on that one.
Yeah, we also dropped Cal and Arizona State for the same reason.
Yep. Kept Notre Dame and what was the other one? Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah.
We had that one lined up, yeah. I mean, that's what happens. You want the playoffs and you want more conference games. Well, you can't have more conference games and play tough out of conference games, or else you just hurt yourself. And we already play FSU, which, I mean, it is what it is, but traditionally has always been tough.
Yeah. Interesting schedule for sure. You know, the home slate, not the greatest, with Ole Miss, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt. Florida Atlantic, Campbell.
Good chance for a first coach to go 4-0 in the
Yeah.
first year, or 5-0.
But going through it now, that being your home slate, like, yeah, could you imagine? I think Campbell might have already been on the schedule, so I think we flopped NC State away game for home versus Florida Atlantic. Yeah.
Well, I really mired us down in this conversation. With regards to the Oklahoma game,
Mm-hmm.
do you know who Oklahoma's bringing back next year? Are they still going to have Mateer?
They are. I got that wrong last week in the episode. I thought he would be gone, but then I looked it up during the episode, and he can come back. So, and I assume I assume he will.
And the South Carolina quarterback, Sellers, looks like he's coming back too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll see. Arch will be back at Texas. And
I believe Oklahoma loses a lot on defense.
You have to go and look that up as well. Vandy, of course, won't
Fortunately,
have Pavia.
Vandy's losing Pavia.
Yep. Trinidad won't be at Ole Miss. Missouri, they had quarterback injuries this year, but they'll have a returner. Georgia, of course, with Stockton, he'll be back. Kentucky should be nobody. What was his name? Boley. He'll be back with Will Stein there calling the plays. So there you go. All right, guys, good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Thanks,
As
Dave.
always.
Another Gators Breakdown Plus number
Thanks, Doug.
chat in the books, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us right here. If you're catching the replay, hit that like button one more time. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Come join us here on Gators Breakdown. Gators Breakdown Plus, taking part in these chats like these. You can do so. GatorsBreakdownPlus.com is where you can sign up. Starting at $3 a month. Everybody out there, thank you one more time for checking us out right here on Gators Breakdown Plus.
Go Gators.
They're good.